It's Thursday on the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
Are you awake?
I am now. I looked at the radar and had to, hurry.
Are you avoiding thunderstorms this morning?
Oh, yeah, it's very dark.
See, when you go at, sunrise, well, yeah, sometimes
there's still thunderstorms.
Yeah, there's still
I
thunderstorms.
might have a fun time getting home today.
When I scheduled the run for today, the group run, it's like, it's pending weather. I don't run in lightning, folks.
Yeah, I don't ride in lightning.
Yeah.
I would prefer not to die.
I don't boat in lightning.
That's a very good idea.
Swim in lightning. That's good advice.
Smart.
No matter who you are, what your sport is, don't do it in lightning. It is Thursday. We're all awake.
It's the last day of May.
It is the last day of May. Tomorrow is June 1st.
Yeah.
It's summertime.
It is summer. School's out for maybe most people. I don't know. I don't have kids, so
yes,
I lose track.
We have moved into summer day camp mode.
Yeah.
For our family. So our son goes to summer day camp. It's still at school, so it's kind of funny calling it camp, but they do more camp type activities. They get to play a little more during the summer.
We should have summer camp.
Hey, that's a great idea. That's an outstanding idea. Camp KFUO.
Yeah.
I like it.
Let's do it.
You know what what did you do during the summers when you were a kid?
I like to read a lot.
I knew that you
Actually,
did.
American Girl books.
Which is why we have Allison Kieselowsky lined up today to talk with us. And she's been a guest on KFUO before to talk about summer reading. And I knew if I emailed her and said, hey, do you want to talk about reading? She would drop whatever she's doing.
Yes, absolutely.
And she would stop to talk about reading because she loves it that much. Hey, friends at Concordia University, Wisconsin, thanks for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about them at cuw.edu. Allison Kieselowsky, she's a mom, an educator, a reading specialist, and fun guest here on KFUO, ready to drop everything and do some reading this summer. Allison, welcome back to KFUO. Thanks for joining us for the Coffee Hour this morning.
Thank you so much. It's fun to be here.
Happy summer. It's not officially summer yet, is it? When did summer begin? I lost track.
I have no idea.
I mean, I don't think we are going to go by the summer solstice, but as far as school goes, around here in Philadelphia, the public schools are still going strong. The kids still have about 2 more weeks, but private schools are finishing up and we'll be kind of sliding into summer soon. So we still have a little bit to go, but they're all thinking about it. I was talking to parents. They're talking about summer camps and what they're going to do this summer. So they're all thinking about it.
That's right. I forgot the eastern part of the U.S. starts... They start school later in the fall, right? They start in September. I don't know.
They do start.
And that was the way it was here in the Midwest. I don't know why we moved to an earlier start and then an earlier out.
Sports. I just blame it on sports.
Well, actually, I think it's sports, but I also think a lot of times students, especially older students, get jobs at amusement parks. Oh. And I think they like the students to start working after Memorial Day. And so I think that's part of it. I think there was kind of a vacation lobby to get some of the schools to end earlier so they could have some of the older students working.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
I'll go with that one.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, it is because we're near Hershey Park here in Pennsylvania. Oh. And they have retirees that work from Memorial Day to the end of school, and then they have the students come in. So it's kind of an interesting difference about the summer work.
That's true.
I think we need to go visit Allison.
I like that
forgot
idea.
that they're not far from Hershey. So, man.
Add that to our road trip.
Chocolate everywhere.
That sounds outstanding.
Lights. You should come.
And in addition to chocolate being a favorite thing, reading, top of the list for all of us. What is on your summer reading list?
Well, I always treat myself every summer to a new mystery writer. It's a little bit of my not-so-secret thrill. And so this year I've started reading some Patricia Wentworth, Miss Silver mysteries. She's kind of like a Miss Marple detective where she sits and knits, but everybody tells her everything, and so she solves the case. So I always do that. I always pick a new mystery writer and see what they're doing. Some of them are very modern and some are not. Patricia Wentworth is more along the lines of Agatha Christie. So it's kind of for fun. That's my fun thing. And then for a little bit on a more serious note, I think I'm going to read this summer The Gardener and the Carpenter. It's a nonfiction by Allison Kieselowsky. She's a professor at the University of Berkeley. And it's on parenting, but it's kind of with a twist. The gardener in the title is a parent who nurtures and cultivates a whole person. And the carpenter in the title is a parent who focused on just getting kids in the top schools to be a specific person in a specific profession, and kind of pushing them in a very specific line. And they're trying to build them into the person they want them to be. And I've, for many years, believed strongly that parents and children should interact with each other as whole people, including that they're spiritual people and physical people, and they have psychology. And so I'm fascinated to see what she'll say. She's not a Christian by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm fascinated as what she'll say about this. So I think I'm going to read that. It's called The Gardener and the Carpenter. And then I think I'm going to try Eric Metaxas' biography of Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Yeah. There's a student edition, which is the one I'm actually going to read. I've read his more adult-based one, but I think I'm going to read the student edition to see what it's like and see if it's accessible to younger people.
There's one on Luther,
so that's
too.
on my personal reading list.
That's a really fun mix of topics.
Well, I think the key to enjoying reading is to mix it up. I actually think it's more fun if you do different styles, you do different genres, you do different topics, and then also read something old that you've already read before and something new, which is something C.S. Lewis recommended. He said, read and then reread, because when you reread, you find a new book.
He's a wise man.
He is a wise man. And it's true. I've read some things to my children that I've read many times over, and it was a totally different experience rereading it than it was to read it. And I think it's partially maturity. It's partially when you read it with new experiences. And so I highly recommend it. I think that's something you can make summer reading really fun, is to mix it up.
How did I miss this the first time I read it? Yes. Or the second time.
Yeah. Speaking of oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and then reading it to another person. So sharing it with my children is a very different experience than sitting in a hammock reading it myself. And it becomes more social. And that's something that makes summer reading fun, is you can make a very social event out of this. It can be with friends. It can be with your family. Makes it a lot more fun and enjoyable.
So speaking of your kids, what's on their reading list for the summer?
Oh, my word, top of the list. We, 2 years ago, started a series called The Incorrigible Children of Ashton Place by Mary Rose Wood. We read all 5 books, which you have to read in order because it's a progressive story. We read all 5 books. There's a cliffhanger at the end of book 5, and book 6 had not been released. So 2 years ago, we get to book 5, and we are just hanging there saying, what in the world's going to happen? It kept getting prolonged, the release. It's finally on pre-order. But we read it 2 years ago, so now we have to reread the whole series so we remember what happened, and then we can read book 6. So we are in the middle. We just finished book 3. We're going to read book 4 and 5 again. And then by June 19th, when the pre-order book comes out, we will have read all 5 books again, and we will read 6, and there will be a mutiny, an absolute mutiny in our house if the book doesn't get released on time. We have enjoyed this series, but we've waited 2 years to finish what is going to happen to poor Miss Penelope Lumley and the Incorrigible Children of Ashton Place. That's top of the list.
Every time you say incorrigible, I think of The Sound of Music. Which character says that in The Sound of Music?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Maybe I'm misquoting.
I don't remember, but I love the word.
It is a fun word.
We don't use it anymore, but that's the nickname they're given. That's actually the surname these children are given.
Incorrigible.
It's Alexander Incorrigible,
That's
Beowulf
hilarious.
Incorrigible, and Cassiopeia Incorrigible.
Those are
it's really funny.
fantastic
It's a funny
names.
series. It's great.
We have just about a minute left. What are some
Okay.
tips for making the most of reading opportunities during the summer for you, for the kids, for the family?
Well, so I've mentioned the two that I think really help is make it social. So I tell people recommendations for other people that have similar tastes and interests as you. So if you have a friend that is interested in the same things, ask them if they've read anything. And it can be articles, it can be books. It doesn't have to be one specific type of reading, but get recommendations and then read it at the same time as someone else. And then you can talk about it. Social reading is always more enjoyable. The second thing I already mentioned was mix it up, and read some with the kids and some with not. But then we've talked about this on your show before, but listening to books. And I think sometimes students in schools are assigned summer reading, and so they think summer reading, oh no, it's schoolwork. So I actually think that maybe a different way to approach it is to listen to it on a CD with professional readers, or read it out loud with other people. And I think that does make it more enjoyable. It's a lot more fun, and you process the words completely differently when you're listening to it. So that might go in with mix it up. We listen to some books, we read some books on our own and then talk about it, and it becomes an event that's a lot more fun. It's really enjoyable. So those would probably be the three specifics I would give.
As a parent, when you're reading books, do you, maybe this is just me, do you practice different accents when you're reading different characters?
Well, I think I'm horrible at some accents, and so it's actually more distracting if I get into it and try and do accents. All I do, it's very simple, is just raise and lower your voice, your pitch. So if it's a younger child, I just raise my voice a little bit, and then if it's an older man, I lower it. Just up and down. So I don't really try and do accents because it sounds terrible, and they're laughing at me. And just said, Mom, oh, please, that's absolutely absurd. But if you just do something small like raise or lower your voice, it does make it more fun. So I just do something very simple. It's my own voice. I just go up or down. And, that's a lot less distracting. Professional voice actors, on the other hand, when they're on CDs, are just amazing.
They are.
I am not a professional voice actor, and it just sounds really dumb if I do accents. But up and down is something everybody can do.
If you read Peppa Pig, you have to have a British accent while you're reading it. We are all out of time. That's a great note to end on. Allison, you're awesome. Thanks so much for the tips for summer reading, and blessings on your summer reading, your family's time together as well. Thanks for being our guest on the Coffee Hour.
Thank you so much. It's always so much fun.
Coming up in just a little bit, it's the green season.
It is the green season.
And I don't mean like all the plants around us.
That's allergy season.
You listen to the Coffee Hour on KFUO.